Good morning, Max. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Julien. How are you? How is the City of Light on this wonderful evening? And I see you're in the patient seat. Tell me your world. What's going on?
I'm glad you're asking about Paris, because that's a Parisian story. That's one I've received in the mailbag from Victoria. Victoria is someone I've been working with for a while, and she's watching the podcast, and she felt that's my turn to share one of my terrible stories. So thank you for that, Victoria.
Oh, a terrible one. All right. Let me seatbelt in here.
I started by saying it's happening in Paris because besides strikes, riots, and croissants, we have another specialty in Paris, which is having incredibly beautiful buildings without elevators, which is great from the outside, not so good when you're ordering heavy items to be delivered.
Oh.
So instead of telling the story, I'm going to read it out and do live translation from French to English. So forgive me if it's not very clear.
Okay.
So here's the story. We have ordered a huge cupboard with 24 different pieces in, let's call it a yellow and blue brand that is very famous for having puzzled furniture, right?
Yes. One we've talked about before. And never mentioned.
Exactly. Yeah, that was my story. That was a painful one. And the delivery is confirmed to happen on Monday between 7 and 10 a.m. We provided the code, at the entrance of the building. You have to type a code to open the door. But we've made a terrible mistake. We've been honest. So we told them that we are on the 5th floor and that, it's not that they don't have an elevator, it's that the elevator is small. And small elevator in Paris is ridiculously small. You hardly get two people inside. So on delivery date, we receive a phone call at 7 a.m. on my friend's phone. And then I went down 8 minutes later. And the delivery guy was nasty and told me, we have been waiting for over 20 minutes, so now you got a choice. Either you get the 24 boxes, but we put them on the pavement and you figure it out, or we just cancel the order altogether. It sounds like a fantastic experience. So I had to cancel the order because there was no way she would carry the 24 boxes on her own. And I spent at least an hour on the phone trying to reach someone from the blue and yellow brand to try to reorganize a new delivery. So long story short, honesty does not pay, especially when the delivery people are not motivated to carry any heavy items on the 5th floor without a proper elevator. So I don't know, where do you want to start with that?
I guess my first feeling, if this was the only 5th floor functionally walk up in Paris, that would be one thing. But this is a common thing. I mean, the mover guys just got to get over it, right? I mean, this is a common reality. I don't understand why a 20-minute delay is such a heinous crime on their part that the whole contract is null and void. That just seems singularly nasty to me.
I agree. There are multiple things that sound completely wrong in that story. First, and assuming that Victoria is telling the entire truth here, because as customers,
we'll assume that is our job with a mailbag.
As customers, we tend not to. We always are victims of something, but assuming the story is right, it took her 8 minutes. When I receive a phone call at 7 a.m. in the morning, I guarantee it's going to take me way longer than 8 minutes.
Yeah.
But it
And
took her
that's
8 minutes to go down 5 floors, which is not 20 minutes. Even if it was 20 minutes, to your point, and probably not the end of the world, but if it was not even 20, not even 10 minutes, then what is the problem? They had the code to open the door. There is an elevator. They have hands, so they did not even need to wait downstairs. They could have gone up already. I don't even know what the heck they were waiting for in the first place. But assuming all of this is right, they literally waited for 8 minutes. I also hate the fact that the delivery company is going to tell you, we're downstairs. You told me you would arrive between 7 and 10. There is a 3 hours gap. Chances are I might brush my teeth, go to toilets, have my breakfast. Don't tell me
right.
once you're here. Tell me at the very least 15 minutes in advance. If you don't, especially if you don't want to wait, you can't expect people to sleep on their doormats waiting for your call. So the whole timing thing, incredibly wrong. But and to your point, it's probably not the only building in Paris where it does happen. So there's something weird here. And still on that same theme, there is also the fact that 7 a.m. It was probably their first delivery of the day. If they had, at the end of the day, you're tired, you've been carrying things the entire day, you're in a bad mood. I get that. No excuse, but I get that. Your first delivery of the day, you should be cheery and full of energy. You should not be a grump at that time.
That one I'll pick a nit with. You could also be tired and hungover, and it's 7 in the morning, and you're outside waiting for somebody to come down, waking them up. But there's not. I will say that just to have fun, but there is no excuse for that kind of attitude or that kind of approach. This went a little differently than I thought from when you set it up. I thought the issue was going to be that given the company, I shouldn't have, but that what they were going to be taking, they wouldn't be able to fit in the elevator at all, that it was like together, and getting something up those 5 flights of stairs, just the logistics of that was going to be so nightmarish. But if I'm sorry, the elevator's small, I'm claustrophobic while holding a box, that doesn't hold any water. If there is an elevator and the stuff is in boxes and you can take it, I have zero sympathy for this guy. This is just horrible thing.
I'm guessing out of 24 boxes, there were probably a good 5 to 10 that would have been too big for the elevator. That would be my guess from the story. I don't have the details, but that would be my guess. And I'm guessing the whole "you're late" story is probably just a perfect excuse to not say, I'm too lazy to climb the stairs. Because what they should probably have done is, if you don't have an elevator, or if it's not going to fit in the elevator, we just need to get the heads up. There might be additional charges, or we might need a different crew, which is fair. And they could have claimed that, but that's not what they claim. And that's why I'm having an issue with that one. The other thing is, I'm very surprised the delivery guy has a power to cancel the whole thing. Because typically from this company, because I've been dealing with them quite a bit, it's not their own delivery people, right? They use third party. And it's kind of weird that a third party could decide on their own, yeah, not going to do anything about it, I'm returning the goods. It doesn't sound like something they should be doing.
This isn't credible at all, does it? Hey, this just sounds like somebody who didn't want to do his job, honestly.
It does sound that way.
Yeah, it's funny. We've had 2 mailbag stories back to back. Mine was a airline travel one, and yours was a delivery nightmare. We are true to form with our stories, even when they come from other people.
I did not realize that, but that's a very good point. But then there is the other piece we didn't pick on, which is the end of the story. I called the brand to organize a new delivery, and I had to hold the line for an hour. Which we are so used to it, we don't even pick on it anymore, but that's still absolutely unacceptable. Especially, think about it. Here, there was no rush anymore, right? The delivery did not happen, so it could be happening now or in the next 6 hours or tomorrow, probably not the end of the world. But the story could have been different. It could be, I'm waiting. The guy should have arrived for an hour. There's still no one. I need to leave my apartment. I have no news. And I'm still going to wait for an hour because until you talk to an agent, I have no idea on why you're calling in the first place. So this 1 hour hold is actually a terrible customer experience because it could have been worse.
It speculating wildly as we are here, assuming this is a third-party delivery company, her calling the brand, that's the point where the brand can say, buddy, this is your job, just go do it. And while they were sitting there, it sounds like this one, it got canceled and then she called, but she could have called while the guy was there. This would be the brand's moment to be able to overcome a bad experience from a contractor, and they totally lose that opportunity when it's something like this, where it's an hour to get to them when 8 minutes is an unacceptable wait.
Yeah, I was going to say, just imagine that scenario. The guy already didn't want to wait for 30 seconds. How is he going to feel once on hold for an hour to get feedback from the brand? So, yeah, but I like the point you raised. You end up with a mailbag story about travel, and I end up with one about deliveries. It does feel like our pet peeves are following us everywhere we go.
I think they are.
And we can both relate, so it's pretty good. So let's just spend 10 seconds on what could have been done better from a brand perspective. You hardly control the third party, unfortunately. But I'm a brand selling furniture. What should I have been doing differently?
What you can do is have very clear rules and expectations that when you show up and ring the bell, well, there should be a requirement that there should have been notification that they were coming.
Right.
B, and that's a process that the vendor could put in, that the third party somehow notifies them that they're coming, and they could own the rest of that. B, there should be a policy. Who knows? Maybe there is a policy that after 20 minutes they're off the hook, and that's why the guy said 20 minutes when it was actually 8. But there should be some very clear policies that you can't just abandon and leave it like that. Now, this guy sounds so heinous. It sounds like there probably were some very clear policies and he just broke them. And like you say, you can't control that. So I guess really, to me, the one thing I can see is just having some communication that comes from the brand as this stuff is moving forward, so that she would have some warning and she would be able to get down there quick. And that would help everybody, right? I mean, I don't have any sympathy for the guy, but if somebody's ready and waiting when he gets there, that's good for the brand and the delivery guy, because now every delivery is 15 minutes shorter or whatever.
I would add 2 more things on the brand side. The first one is a very obvious one. Fix your contact center. You can't have people waiting.
I'm sorry, I didn't even mention that. Absolutely.
For an hour. Either you offer more channels, or you hire more people to pick up the phone, or you have a more efficient IVR to make sure that urgent stuff are being treated first. Whatever it is, fix your contact center. It's obviously not working, and I had a similar complaint a few months ago, so it's not the first. Talking about A/B testing last week is the same thing. It just doesn't work. Fix your contact center. And the other piece is probably around survey. There may have been a survey, right? We may not necessarily have the whole story in the mailbag, but let's assume they don't have. You should always, when you use third parties for the delivery, you should always have a survey specific around the delivery piece, that you can use that data to tell your third party whether they are doing good work or not. Renegotiate prices and eventually fire them and move on to a different third party, because this is just not acceptable. They represent your brand, and here they are not giving a good image of that company.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I got nothing else. This just I feel so much for your friend. That's just a brutally painful story.
Well, a big thank you to Victoria for sharing your misery with us. Hopefully, that was a little bit of a relief. And by now, the cupboard is nicely fit in your apartment. And a big thank you to you, Max, for listening and bringing your advice on it.
Well, thanks for sharing the story. And Victoria, I feel your pain. Thank you. And I agree with Julien. I hope this is all up and just a painful memory that you'll have every time you look at your cupboard.
Have a beautiful day, Max, and I guess we'll have a different story to share next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Julien.